Welcome one, welcome all to the Angelo Grosso podcast. I believe this is number 41. I'll be damned. Time flies when you're having fun, jabronis. And before I recorded this, I walked through my kitchen and I walked by my refrigerator because that's where it is in the house. And I realized I still had all of my Christmas cards that I got from friends or family up on there. And I thought, shit, it is March, what is it? March 2nd? March 3rd? March 2nd. And I still have Christmas cards up. So I took them down and they had a good 4 months on the refrigerator. That's not too shabby. Although looking through them again, I did realize that 2 of them were sent to the previous occupants of this house. But they were such nice looking Christmas cards. I threw them up on the refrigerator anyway. Now I know some of you may be thinking, it's a bit odd, Angelo, to put strangers' Christmas cards up on your refrigerator. But I'm thinking, fuck you. That's the Christmas spirit, baby. Who gives a fuck? You know, Noel and chestnuts and open fire and Rudolph and little drummer bitch boy and all that stuff. It's awesome. Who cares if you know that people are not? Nice looking family, nice cards, a lot of work was put into it. It's not their fault that their supposed friends forgot to tell them they moved. So, fuck it. I put them up there and they look pretty good on there. I feel like I do know these people now. But anywho, yeah, welcome to the podcast. Let's get the anger-inducing politics stuff out of the way first because I'm about to blow my top, baby. Boy, aren't you guys glad that we bombed Syria illegally instead of getting a stimulus or a minimum wage bill passed? It's pretty disgusting. This administration, with all of its promises, now, rightly so, they have followed through with some of them. Some of them are very good, but you can just tell they really don't give a shit about the stimulus checks, and they don't give a fuck for the $15 minimum wage. If they did, they would fight for it. That Senate parliamentarian, whatever that is, that's just a opinion. And even though she said that you can't do minimum wage through budget, whatever she said, it is a opinion. You can fire her and hire another one to look at this and say, you know what, you can do this. And it wouldn't be the first time this has happened. The Republicans have done this 3 times, to my knowledge. They may have done it more. They have fired that Senate parliamentarian and installed someone that agrees with what they want to do, and then they pass it. And I read a report that 60% of registered Republican voters actually approve of the Biden administration's 1.9 trillion, 4.9 trillion, whatever, his stimulus package. And not one Republican in the House voted for it. So as much as I shit on Joe Biden and Kamala Harris for not overriding the Senate parliamentarian, whatever, she could have done it. She chose not to, so fuck her as well. For as much as I shit on them, the fact that not one Republican voted for this coronavirus stimulus package is just disgusting. It really shows you that it's just partisan politics. And I don't give a fuck what Biden said during the presidential race between him and Trump. How he wants to work with the Republicans. Well, guess what, Sleepy Joe? They don't want to work with you because you're a Democrat. This whole idea of reaching across the aisle is garbage, and it's been garbage the last, 3 presidents? Do you remember when you were vice president for 8 years, how often did the Republicans vote alongside what you and Obama wanted to do, outside of bombing Iraq and Afghanistan and Syria? Outside of the military, did the Democrats and Republicans ever vote alongside each other? I'd have to research it. I don't fucking think so. they're giving you thoughts and prayers, people. That if the Democrats really wanted to, the Democrats in leadership, I should say, in power, really wanted to, they could fight. They could go to the Joe mansions and say, look, you're gonna lose when you run for the Senate again if you don't help us on this. People are struggling. We've already lied to them about the stimulus checks being from $2,000. Now it's $1,400. But we have to at least raise the minimum wage. I mean, in the same report about the 60% of Republican voters liking the stimulus package, they also said like 70 or 80% of Democrats like the stimulus package. It's not perfect. If I can nitpick it to death, I'm sure, because that's my specialty. But this whole idea of, well, we're trying, but the Republicans won't play with us fairly. Bitch, you should have saw that coming. You know they're not going to work with you. They're going to stifle everything, just like they did under Obama and just like the Democrats did under Trump. That's why everybody hates politics. You literally could have something that 90% of the country agrees on, and if the Democrats put it forward, you know the majority of the Republicans are going to vote against it. It's disgusting. So if the Senate doesn't pass this coronavirus bill, which I honestly don't think they will, because why would they? Because two Democrats in the House voted against it, so if that happens in the Senate, it's too close to call, and that cocksucker mansion, who knows? But it doesn't look good for the minimum wage at the least. At the bare minimum wage is out. But at least we bombed Syria illegally, and Iran has already said that, you know what, fuck the Iran nuclear deal, you're bombing us. And I've heard people say, well, it was in retribution of what they did. Who gives a fuck? Be the bigger country and just say, we're done. We're not going to retaliate with more violence. What's done is done. You did a bad thing. We've done bad things. Let's turn the page. Someone has to be the bigger adult in the room. The bigger adult? Someone has to be the mature adult in the room. Get me in there, baby. I'll fix that shit. But anyway, let's move on before my head explodes like I'm in the movie Scanners. Oh, that's a movie reference for you. It's a deep cut, actually. That is a cult fucking movie, Scanners. But to end the politics here, Neera Tanden just withdrew her nomination as the Biden budget chief, so I'm ecstatic on that front. Baby steps in the right direction. That's all you can ask for sometimes. But let's move on from politics, shall we? I want to move on now to one of my favorite subjects, myself. I was reminded over the weekend what a nice person I am. Not only nice, but I truly do think highly of myself in a lot of ways. And one of them is I generally think that I am a damn near perfect person when it comes to empathy, kindness, compassion, and I don't like to use people, and I don't like to do something nice only to get something in return, if that makes any sense. And let me give you the example here that kind of set this all off. A couple weeks ago, your boy here got a little bit too toasty and stoned, and bought, I shit you not, oh god, what was it? I believe between 15 or 18 boxes of Girl Scout cookies. I'm not proud of myself either. Right in the middle of a weight loss competition too, but I want to point out. Now, there is a family that lives across from me in my cul-de-sac, and they got a couple kids. One of them is a Girl Scout. Now, of course, because of the pandemic, Girl Scouts aren't standing outside every convenience store, grocery store, weed store, what have you. So they have to do everything digitally. So one day I was leaving the house and I had a little note thing on my doorknob from the Girl Scout across the street saying, hey, here's my troop number, here's my name. If you want to help Girl Scouts and myself out this year, go to the website, put in my information, and buy whatever, and I'll really appreciate it. And I thought, well, fuck yeah, I love Girl Scout cookies. Later that night, got a little too stoned, spent way too much money on Girl Scout cookies. But I also want to point out that I donated the same amount of boxes to whatever charity the Girl Scout cookies do. I hope it's a legit charity, but I don't know why it wouldn't be. It's the Girl Scouts. They have a better reputation than, say, their counterparts, the Boy Scouts, you know. I completely spaced and I forgot that I did this. So a couple weeks later, I get a text from a number I don't recognize saying your delivery is on your front step. Your delivery's there. And I'm thinking, delivery? What delivery? I didn't buy anything. I go outside and I got this big old box of Girl Scout cookies. And it all came back to me. I'm like, shit, marijuana, you got me again. And I thought right away, I cannot keep all of these Girl Scout cookies. I will gain 50 pounds a day because I have no self-control. Now, the Girl Scout cookies that I bought were my all-time favorite, Samoas. I don't give a fuck. If you do not like Samoas, I don't want you in my life. The next one was Tagalongs. Those have always been a clear number 2, but I like chocolate and I like peanut butter and I like that little crunch. And the third one, which I haven't always been a fan of it, but the older I get, the more I'm like, okay, I dig these. It's the, what's that flavor called? It's the mint one with the thin cookies. Motherfucker, it's the thin mint, you dumb fuck. Oh, God. What the hell was I talking about? Oh, yeah. So I got 18 boxes, give or take, of these 3 flavors. But then I think to myself, let me give these away to people or businesses that I kind of have a nice relationship with their workers, their staff. So I took some to the physical therapist, I took some to my latte stand, and I took some to my weed shop. The weed shop was the most excited about it. The physical therapies were like, but you know, these people are in shape. They're health nuts. And so I said, yeah, you don't have to take any. They actually did not take any. I don't blame them, though, if they're health nuts. And if, you know, you start eating a tag-along, next thing you know, you eat a whole box, because that happens to the best of us. And so, but I didn't want anything in return. It never, ever, the thought never crossed my mind. Genuinely. And that's usually the case. And I have to say usually because I want to say always, but I'm sure I was an asshole once or twice in my life. And I did something nice to get something in return. I pride myself on not doing that as a, you know, as a self-rule. You know, kind of a self-made motto, if you will. So, and I actually talk people out of giving me something in return for when I do acts of kindness or acts of generosity like this. I don't even like getting a t-shirt or a mug if I donate to a charity. For example of that, I donated a couple $100s to the radio station KEXP. And because I donated a certain amount, they said, hey, because you donated this amount, you get to choose like 3 of these things and we're going to send it to you. I really didn't even want any of them. There was no way out of it. So then I got a t-shirt that's too small, doesn't fit me, and a coffee mug that broke. And I think I got a sticker for my laptop, which is cool. But I didn't want any of that shit. I just wanted to donate because I like the radio station. Same thing with the Girl Scout cookies. Went to the latte stand. They wanted to give me a free latte or something. I'm like, no, I don't want a free latte. Which may surprise some of you that know me because you know how much I love me some lattes. But I said, no, I'm just giving you some boxes. That's okay. They were so happy. They were, you know, that gives me joy. Same thing with the weed shop. They took 4 boxes. These fucking potheads loved me there. But they made sure that they gave me something. I actually said no multiple times, but they insisted. And I can only say no so many times, especially if I'm at a weed shop. And especially if I'm giving them Girl Scout cookies and there is a strain called Girl Scout cookies. So they gave me 2 joints of the Girl Scout cookie strain. We all thought it was ironic and hilarious. It just worked out that way. So yes, on that situation, for that example, yes, I did get something in return, but I didn't want it. I actually fought hard against it. But I'm not going to turn down free marijuana after the first a couple times, you know what I'm saying? And even though the physical therapist didn't take anything, I don't think they would have tried to give me something. But anyway, I digress. The whole point is, I try to live my life by this motto, like the golden rule. Do others as you'd like be done to you. I loved it when I was working in retail or customer service, and one of my favorite customers comes in as a surprise and drops off donuts or cookies or a fruit or vegetable tray or pizza. Who the fuck knows? And I know most large corporations, like, we can't accept gifts, but they can go fuck themselves. The people that make those rules are probably millionaires. The people that are receiving the gifts at the lower level like us, we're living paycheck to paycheck. I will gladly take some pizza from one of my favorite customers. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I liked it a lot when I was working in jobs like that, and I want to give back now that I can a little bit. And I don't think it's narcissistic. Well, it is narcissistic to boast about, you know, donating to charity and whatnot, or telling people how nice and generous you are. And I do that too, and I will be the first person to say that I am a narcissistic son of a bitch. But my narcissism comes from a place of good. For instance, I will tell people how much exact I donated to a charity. Not to show off. Not to, you know, make myself look cool and grand and, oh, look at this guy, he's so cool, he's so generous, I want to suck his dick. No, I don't do it for that. I do it because it makes me feel good. And maybe that is selfishness at its core. But I feel like if I'm doing something good or nice for somebody or something, it's okay to feel good about it. It's not okay, however, to do something nice or generous only to use that favor down the line to get something in return. I was raised by someone who does this all the time. They will do something nice for you, then they will remind you that they did that one thing when they need something in return from you. Hey, do you remember when I gave you that blah, blah, blah? Well, now I need a ride to the airport. That kind of bullshit. No. You should just be able to ask me for a ride to the airport, and I'll just do it. And if I can't do it, I say I can't do it. Sorry. And I don't want to sound ageist, but I tend to notice, because after all, I am the self-titled boomer whisperer. The boomers are rarely generous without strings attached. There's always a caveat. And I don't want to say all boomers, but a high majority do tend to do things only to get something in return. And it's not just because I'm jaded by one of my parents doing this, but I have seen it everywhere I go, outside of family and friends. And a lot of customers, they want to do something nice for you, but then they want to use that later on. I remember distinctly when I was working at my bank job in Covington, a guy came in, gave us all Starbucks gift cards. Not crazy. I think there was only like $5 on each, but it's still a very nice thing to do. And sure enough, a week later, 2 weeks later, this guy's name was on the overdraft report that they made me call people on. Don't even get me started on overdraft fees from the banks, you dirty, rotten, greedy bastards. Anyway, the guy was on the overdraft list. I called him. He was all nice when he realized it was me, but then when I told him, I'm just calling to let you know you're overdrawn, he completely flipped the switch, started yelling at me, wanted to talk to the manager, and then he brought up those Starbucks gift cards. Oh, I gave you little fuckers those Starbucks gift cards, and you still charge me fees. And I was quick to remind him, hey, you know, I'm not charging you these fees. Does that say Bank of Angelo? No, that says U.S. Bank. They're the ones charging you fees. And then he came into the branch, and he made a big deal about the Starbucks gift cards. So much, in fact, that there had to be an email sent out to all of the branches saying we can no longer accept gifts from customers based on whatever. Oh, I mean, those fucking boomers ruin it for everybody sometimes. But again, I don't want to generalize. Just maybe I do just a little bit. Just a teeny bit. Yeah, but fuck overdraft fees. But that's the big difference. I do nice things because it makes me feel good, and I don't want anything in return. I truly don't. And if I ever do want something in return, it has to be a case by case. You know what I'm saying? I just wish everybody was more like me. I feel like if more people that were in power did things like this, we wouldn't be in the shit show and the politics, or it just doesn't have to be just politics. It could be people who like the Jeff Bezoses or the Elon Musks or the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world, where I don't really think they give a fuck about anyone but themselves. I think it just gets to a certain point where you're so rich and so powerful that you really lose track of what it means to be a human. You lose your empathy. You lose that compassionate connection that you have to all human beings. So, what the fuck am I even talking about? Oh yeah, I'm a nice guy. I'm very nice. I'm very cool, very great, very giving, very empathetic, and I wish everybody was like me. So if y'all are listening and you think, well, I don't like to boast or tell people when I do nice things, sure, that works for you, but it doesn't work for me. I'm the kind of person that if I donate, for example, a lot of money to a hospital and they build a new wing of the hospital and they want to name it after me, some people are saying, no, I want to rename Anonymous, or they'll put a quote, or they'll whatever. They want to be out of the picture. They just wanted to do it for whatever reasons they have, probably for a tax write-off. That's not why I do it. I could give a fuck about the tax write-off. Although I say that now. Well, let's see how years down the road and I keep giving, you know. I don't want to compare myself to Jesus in terms of giving, but I'm closing the gap. That's all I'm saying. But back to this hypothetical hospital wing. Guys, I'm serious. I am dead sober right now. I know you're probably thinking this guy's fucked up, but no, I'm not. Although I do have my granddaddy purple joint just sitting here waiting. But anyway, if I donated money to a hospital and they built a wing, I would make it a point for my name to be on there, and then I would write a poem about me and the goodness of giving, and then maybe I would even put a self-portrait or something out there. And some of you are probably thinking, holy shit, that is the most narcissistic thing I've ever heard. I don't think so. It's not like I'm putting my name in gold letters outside of a building like one of our last presidents. I just want people to be aware. Wow, Angelo donated this. You know what? Maybe I should donate. That's where my mind goes in these scenarios. I never want to boast about my charitable givings or whatnot. And if I tell you, or if you listen to me talk on these podcasts about it, my point is I'm hoping that it encourages you or it inspires you to do the same if you can. I'm at a point in my life that for the first time in my life, I'm not living paycheck to paycheck. So I got the money to spend. I don't really live a lavish lifestyle. Plus with quarantine, who really knows how my spending habits are going to be going forward? Who the fuck knows? The point being, I'm a simple man with simple pleasures, and one of those simple pleasures is helping people. And when I see a genuine happiness from someone related to something I did, that's all the dopamine hit that I need. I mean, yeah, marijuana and alcohol and sex are good, but I tell you, there's no better feeling than causing a smile or tears of joy in someone based on something you did. And if you can combine the drugs and the alcohol and the sex together with doing something nice for somebody, more power to you. We are only on this world, you know, well, some of you might think otherwise, but I believe we get only one chance in this, you know, life. But I do kind of, maybe reincarnation. I don't want to talk about reincarnation because that'd be kind of cool, but I don't think you can control it. But what the fuck do I know? I feel like I'm all over the place on this. Am I making sense, people? Am I getting my point across? It's not cocky. It's not narcissistic to talk about giving and being nice to people as long as you do it from the right place. That's all my point. That's all my point is. Oh, good God. But anywho, let's move on. I am getting exhausted of talking about how awesome and generous I am. Psych, I can go on and on and on. But I won't. This time. You know, this podcast is going to be a little bit more loose, if you will. Well, all my podcasts are quite loose. And actually quite disorganized, if I'm being quite truthful here. But I don't have anything really set to talk about on this podcast. Really, I want to talk about how great I am. That was about it. So I think we can spend a lot of time, or at least half of the podcast, looking at my journal here. So let me pull this mofo up. And just a reminder to maybe my new listeners, I have an ongoing journal on my phone that throughout the day, if I come up with an idea for a podcast theme or just a funny idea or a thought or a whatever, I jot it down and I don't look at it again. until the actual recording of the podcast, because I like to keep it, fresh, baby. So let's see here. So it's Angelo's journal, or is it the diary? Do I want to call it the journal or I like diary. Well, isn't a diary implies that I'm doing it on the regular, right? Yeah, fuck it. It's Angelo's diary. What is it gonna be? I hope it's not racist or sexist. All right, number 1. Talk about the Studio Ghibli Marathon. Shit, this is old. I was doing that back in October? No. Fuck, I don't remember when I was doing it. By the way, we're going to get to the bottom of this. How do you pronounce Ghibli? Is it Ghibli, Ghibli, Ghibli? How do you pronounce Studio Ghibli? And by the way, I'm talking about the Japanese animation movie studio that has produced some of the best animated movies of the last, I don't know, fucking 30, 40 years? I don't know. But let's see. First things first. How do you pronounce it here? Studio Ghibli. Let's see. My voice search has been turned off. You son of a bitch. All right. Let's see. Maybe Wikipedia has how you pronounce it. Oh, nope. It doesn't have that either. Son of a bitch. Why is it so hard? Pronunciation.
Studio Ghibli.
Oh, so it's a hard G, not a soft G? Or is it... Wait, J, G. J is soft, right? G is hard.
Studio Ghibli.
Oh, so it's a hard G. So I've been saying it wrong forever. Is that quite the American thing to do? Oh, boy. Yeah, okay, I do have it under American pronunciation. Ooh, I can turn it on fast.
Studio Ghibli.
Well, that's slow. Man, I am retarded on this one. But anyway, so that's how you pronounce it. Studio Ghibli. Ghibli? Ghibli?
Studio Ghibli.
God, that just sounds wrong, doesn't it? But, okay, fuck it. Studio Ghibli. I can quickly cover the movies that I saw here. I won't spend forever on them, but... some of them I have seen multiple times. Others I just wanted to watch because I've heard about them. Others I've never heard of them, but I still wanted to check them out. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Hayao Miyazaki. I've seen, I think, all of his movies, except, I didn't see The Cat Returns, or, I haven't seen all of them. I take that back, but anyway, let's see. I did not see Castle in the Sky. That was their first one. I did not see Grave of the Firefly. Where the fuck is all... Okay, here are the ones that I have seen. Okay. My Neighbor Totoro, which is a classic. It's really made for kids, and this was the third time watching it, and I really didn't enjoy it as much as I hoped I would, even with the marijuana help. I still think it's a great movie. I would watch it with kids and stuff, but watching it by yourself at 34, that's a little weird. Moving on. Kiki's Delivery Service, I have not seen that. Porco Rosso, I did not see that one. Shit, where are the ones that I did see? Princess Mononoke. This was the first time watching it. This movie has been recommended to me by everybody who likes animated movies. Even when I went to Japan, they had a whole Studio Ghibli section. It just doesn't sound right. Studio Ghibli. Anyway, they had a whole Studio Ghibli section, and I bought a little Totoro, and I bought a Winds of Nausicaa. Is it the Winds of Nausicaa? Am I pronouncing that right? Let's see. They don't have it on here. Wait, Tales of Nausicaa is not a Ghibli film? I'm just going to go to the Miyazaki page. This thing is throwing me off here. But anyway, it doesn't matter what I bought. I bought some things there. But they had a bunch of Princess Mononoke, toys and stuffed animals and shit and posters. And I thought, God, I really need to watch this movie. But, like a lot of these Studio Ghibli films, it's hard to find them. It's hard to get access to them. Every now and then you'll see one on a Netflix or a Prime or something, but not really. But now that I have HBO Max, there's a whole section of nothing but Studio Ghibli films. But surprisingly, not all of them. Most, but not all. Okay, why can't I think of that movie? Yeah, it's a Miyazaki film. Come on, where is it? Studio Ghibli. 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 Studio Ghib No, I don't care about his early works, motherfucker. Yeah, here it is. Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. That's what I'm talking about. That wasn't a Studio Ghibli film? God damn it, Ghibli film? I can't even pronounce. Oh, it was before Studio Ghibli. God, I am saying, when I say these words, it doesn't sound like I'm making any sense at all. But anyway, Princess Mononoke blew me the fuck away. I really wish I watched it when I first started getting into these movies in college. It's a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. It's arguably the best Miyazaki film. I know people lose their shit over Spirited Away, for example. Now, I rewatched Spirited Away during this marathon. It was the third time I've watched it, and like the other two times, I'm very unimpressed with that movie. There are some cool parts to it. I like the idea. I even like some of the conspiracies around it, or how some people think there's more depth to it, how it's about a girl growing up and how there's molestation and abusive parents and everything, and all these different characters being different emotions and different memories and different whatever. And it's like, okay, it's not a PhD paper, you know what I'm saying? So Spirited Away, to me, is the most overrated Miyazaki film, and it's not even close. Well, it's the most overrated one that I have seen. Princess Mononoke, amazing. Amazing. There's nothing wrong with it. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm sure there is. But I love the movie, but I've only seen it once. Maybe that's why I'm so ecstatic about it. I need to rewatch it again. Now, I did rewatch Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind. Still holds up. That movie is dank as a motherfucker. That was the first Miyazaki film I ever watched. What an intro. If you're going to watch two Miyazaki films, you need to watch Princess Mononoke and Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind. And if you want to watch my favorite commercial success one, the one that everybody likes and everyone talks about it like no one's ever heard of it. Oh, have you heard of Howl's Moving Castle? Motherfucker, everybody's heard of Howl's Moving Castle. There's people that legitimately live under rocks know of that movie and they like it. Everybody likes Howl's Moving Castle. Who the fuck doesn't like Howl's Moving Castle? Who doesn't want to fuck Howl in his castle? Again, very androgynous rendition of that character. You don't know who he is or what he is. Well, I am calling him a he, so maybe you do know. But you know what? Fuck, it's animation. Who gives a fuck? I feel like I went on a weird tangent there. But anyway, I still do love Howl's Moving Castle, but so does everybody else. That's my point. I can wipe my ass with Spirited Away. Let's see. Tales from Earthsea was a garbage movie. I sat through the entire movie hoping to see some fucking dragons because on the movie page on HBO Max, all they had were images of dragons. I watched the trailer, a bunch of dragons, and I'm like, fucking a Studio Ghibli film with fantasy and dragons? Sign me the fuck up. There were dragons in the movie for like 2 minutes. And the movie was, I think, 2 hours. Fuck that movie. I have not seen Ponyo. There's Ponyo and is it Up on Poppy Hill? I have 2 or 3 more on my queue. I took a break from the marathon because I was watching way too many of them. But I knew there was a new one too, Earwig and the Witch, but that one just looks weird to me. But I do know Miyazaki's coming out with another one. You know, everyone said he said his last movie was The Wind Rises. And that is a beautiful film. It's not great, but it's a beautiful film. It really is. To me, it feels like the most grounded, realistic film that I have seen from Miyazaki, which makes sense because it tells a true story. I don't know if he's done that before, if he tells actual true stories and not stories he's created or from novels or anything. But anyway, I highly recommend the Studio Ghibli films. If you want to watch one that you maybe haven't seen or haven't heard of, Nausicaa, the Valley Wind, Princess Mononoke. Maybe Princess Mononoke is a lot more famous than I'm giving it credit for, but I had just seen it, so it's new to me. So yeah, check out Studio Ghibli. If you got an HBO Max account, you don't have a fucking excuse why you're not watching them. So, but yeah, let's move on here. What else we got in this jabroni diary here? Is there a better comedy movie franchise than the Naked Gun movies? Ooh, shit! I love those movies. But is there a better comedy series? Huh. Let me think here. You know, honestly, most comedy movie sequels are pure garbage. Bill and Ted got a second one, but that's the only one that's coming to mind. And any sequel that takes more than like 3 years to come out usually is dog shit. I mean, Anchorman 2 was garbage, Borat 2 was garbage, and fuck the Golden Globes giving Borat 2 all that shit. That movie was a fucking travesty. It was, wasn't even funny. I couldn't even finish that garbage. Dumb and Dumber 2 was awful. Oh, Zoolander 2? That was dog shit. Yeah, give me another comedy movie that had a good sequel. God. The Hangover sequels were garbage. You know what? The Naked Gun, baby. That's where it's at. I cannot think of another one. But those movies are so near and dear to my heart. I watched them so much as a child. Probably too young, but fuck that. It wasn't good. And it was a nice bonding experience with my old man. We used to watch them all the time. That's when I got into a lot of slapstick humor, like Three Stooges, and really all the golden age of comedy. The Three Stooges, Laurel and Hardy, the Marx Brothers, all that stuff. I watched all of that with the old man. It was really good. And I still enjoy watching those old comedy routines to this day. But, oh man, Leslie Nielsen. What an interesting guy. I implore you all to look up Leslie Nielsen, the star of the Naked Gun movies and a bunch of other stuff. I find his life very interesting because he tried so hard to be a major dramatic actor, and he was in a bunch of stuff, but he never quite got it, and he was getting ready to retire, and he got to be kind of known as a TV character actor, and I think whoever directed the Airplane, was that the Robert Zemeckis? I think I'm full of shit on that, but you know, Airplane is a classic comedy movie, but the sequels, nah. Same with the Police Academy. The first ones are so good and they're just trash. But let me see. IMDb this motherfucker here. What am I looking at? Aeroplane. I don't know why. I always feel like I spell airplane wrong. Oh, I did. I put an E in there. What the fuck's wrong with me? Instead of an I. Oof. But yeah, who the hell directed Airplane? David Zucker. Well, I was close. But anyway, my point being, he was ready to retire, basically. But he was in Airplane, and he became so huge. I mean, and there was every single one of those Naked Gun movies. There were 3, by the way. They're all, I know I keep using the term classics and masterpieces, but they're just damn near perfect films. I mean, maybe it's because they mean so much to me. I mean, the same shit that gets me giggling at age 8 makes me laugh to this day. I just love it. The movie, oh God, they're one of the few DVDs that I still own because, I didn't want to get rid of all my DVDs. But you know what? Fuck it. Let me tell you about the Naked Gun movies because it just works. It just works. All of the characters, the plot, the editing, the nonstop jokes. I mean, there's shit going on in the background of set pieces. And again, Leslie Nielsen, fucking Priscilla Presley, George Kennedy, and say what you will, but O.J. Simpson is dynamite in this movie. At least he was in the first 2. I don't think O.J. Simpson was in the 3rd movie. Let me see. I think by 3 he was out. Let's see here. Naked Gun 33 and the 3rd, The Final Insult. I love the fucking titles. Oh shit, he was in there. Yeah, O.J. Simpson played Nordberg. Man, I could spend all day talking to you guys about the Naked Gun series. The best thing that I can recommend is just watch the movies if you haven't seen them. I mean, yeah, if you get over, an alleged murderer is a comedic actor and quite good. And Leslie Nielsen and George Kennedy are just so good. And Priscilla Presley and all of the villains. I mean, The villain is Robert Goulet in the first one, I believe. Oh, God. And the jokes are just non-stop. You're getting something every couple seconds. And Leslie Nielsen is such a straight man. He always has a straight face, and his voice is always so full of adulting and responsibility and alpha, whatever. I just how that means it to me. But then he does the craziest shit, and then he starts to laugh, and it just is a good mix. I love Leslie Nielsen. There's not a lot of actors that I hold in higher esteem than him. I know Robin Williams is up there, to a certain extent, close to it, but not as high. I hold a lot of the fat white dead actors, the Jim Belushis, the Chris Farleys, the John Candys. Specifically, John Candy and Chris Farley meant a lot to me around the same time in my life. When I was in middle school and high school, I was always doing Chris Farley impressions. So, but as a comedic actor, I don't know if anyone's better than Leslie Nielsen. Mel Brooks is up there. I hold up there. Robin Williams, like I said, but damn, it's making me starting to get teary-eyed here. But yeah, I don't think there is a better series of comedy movies than The Naked Gun. Nothing's coming to mind. But you know what? I'm intrigued now. Let me look. I'm sure I'm missing some, but they have to be good. Let's see. Best comedy sequels. All right. Yeah, let's go look by IMDb. Home Alone. Is that? Yeah, okay. But there was only 2 good ones. The rest of them have been garbage. Yeah, okay, I would say Home Alone had a decent sequel, but Naked Gun still wins because there was 3 tight movies where there's only 2 tight Home Alone movies. Let's see. Muppet Classic Theater. I never really got into the Muppets. Charlie Brown and Snoopy movies. Go fuck yourself. Is that it? No, man, I need some more shit that's more current. Let's see. Muppets. Yeah, the Peanuts. Snoopy, Daffy Duck, City Slickers 2. Ooh, boy, that's, ooh. I enjoy City Slickers 2, but it's not a good movie. Nowhere near as good as the first one. All right, I'll give you a mulligan on City Slickers, but I feel like that's charity right there. Gremlins 2. Ooh. Yeah, okay, but again, we're in the Home Alone territory. You only got 2 of them. There never was a Gremlins 3, so we don't know. Pirates of the Caribbean, no. Every single one after the first one was poop. The Land Before Time aren't really comedy movies. Why is there so many Land Before Time movies? Holy shit. Wait a minute, now I'm getting in horror movies. Friday the 13th? This ain't comedy. What the fuck website is this? The Leprechaun movies. Some bullshit. Here, let's look here. Oh, Austin Powers. Yeah, but Goldmember, oof. There was 3 of them, though. It's like, I put the other Mike Myers series in there, Shrek. The first 2 were good, but it just got too much. It got too much. It's the same thing with the Despicable Me. Fuck the Minions. If I ever see a little fucking yellow Minion, I'm going to beat it to death. I'm sick of those things. Back to the Future. Yeah, those are comedies. Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But the third one, again, kind of shit. Kind of shit. So again, I'm not seeing 3 great movies in a row. I'm not seeing it. Let's see. 22 Jump Street. Yeah, it was good, but again, there's only 2 of them. The National Lampoon Vacation movies. Ooh, I didn't think about those. Yeah, there was a bunch of them, and there's more, and I would say they're all pretty good up until the Vegas one. And even the Vegas one has its moments. So what do you got? You got Christmas, you got Vacation, European Vacation, Christmas Vacation. But personally, as much as I enjoy those vacation movies, Naked Gun's better. Wayne's World, yeah, but again, only 2. Ghostbusters, again, only 2. Bill and Ted we only covered. Anchorman 2's on this list. Ugh. Anchorman 2 is a pile of poop that should have been thrown out in an abortion garbage bin. So yeah, I stand by it. There is no better comedy series than The Naked Gun. And if you think otherwise, I think it's time for you to get a lobotomy. I guess something ain't right upstairs. Whew. That's some funny shit, though. All right, I think this is the last one here before we gotta wrap this mofo up. What actual rock stars should be starring in movies? Huh. If I was making a movie, I would put Eddie Vedder as the star bitches. I don't know why I have to call myself a bitch. God, I'm such a sexist person sometimes to myself. Yeah, I think Eddie Vedder would be good in a movie. I think it'd be kind of cool if you're making a movie about a rock star to put actual rock stars in the film. They don't actually maybe have to be the main star, but they should at least be in the film. And I think Eddie Vedder would be good. I would put a lot of rock stars of that generation in there. God, who else would I put in there? Peter Gabriel? Fuck yeah. Neil Young. You know what? Fuck it. I'll just put all my favorite singers in there. Oh, man. If I'm putting my favorite singers, besides, let's see, Eddie Vedder, Peter Gabriel, Neil Young. I don't want Bob Dylan's mumbling ass in there. Oh, let's see. God, I am so stoned I can't think. Oh, Jim James from My Morning Jacket would be cool. Sufjan Stevens. Ben Gibbard. Isaac Brock. He would be a good bartender or some shit. Oh, man. I'm forgetting. The guy from The National. The guy from Interpol. All of Arcade Fire would be kind of cool. But I'm not putting any of, like, 90s rock. Because, fuck, they're all dead. Who's left? Chris Cornell's... Oh, I missed that motherfucker. Oh, God, who's left from the 90s? I'm drawing a blank. All I can think of is, like, boy bands. Yeah, fuck, you could put in Justin Timberlake in there and Britney Spears. I didn't even think of the women. Oh, I thought it was rock stars. I don't want Courtney Love in there, though. Or Gwen Stefani. Ugh. What other female rock singers from the 90s and 2000s? What can I think of any? Oh, St. Vincent? That'd be good. I don't know, but I think it'd be pretty cool. If you're making a movie about a guy or gal trying to make it and actually make it serious, it'd be really cool to have actual singers play it, not actors. No, I want real life people. That would be cool. And they all are going to play different roles, and they're not all playing themselves, or they're not playing musicians. You know, Peter Gabriel could be a psychiatrist. Eddie Vedder could be a guy that works at Guitar Center. I don't know. It'd be kind of cool. I don't know. I'm sure that movie's been done. I know musicians have been in movies forever, but really think about it. I can't because I've smoked a little too much, but I really can't think of a movie about music that stars actual musicians, but they're not playing themselves. Like Austin Powers had Elvis Costello as himself. David Bowie was in Zoolander as himself. I'm not going to keep going down the list of actors, musicians that played actors that played themselves. It'd be here all day. Anyway, let's wrap this mofo up. This was a fun podcast. It was really cool to dive into the diary. Hopefully soon I'll be getting some artwork done so I can change things up a little bit and I can finally update the name and get that ball rolling. And yeah, my parents are going to be getting the COVID vaccines here tomorrow and Thursday. And then they should get their second one shortly thereafter. And God, I really do hope I can get my vaccine at least by May. That'd be nice. Because I'm already talking to some buddies about taking some trips later in the year. Because God damn do we need it. Everybody needs it. Well, not everybody. People that want to do it should do it. As long as we got our vaccines and shit's fine. I see that Texas and Mississippi are now saying, fuck it, everything's reopening and you don't need to wear masks anymore. I think that's a little too extreme and too far and stupid and idiotic. I'd be okay with reopening businesses because, again, I've always had a problem at what's been forced to close and what's been able to remain open between businesses. I'm not going to go through the list, but Target and fucking Walmart are open, but little smaller convenience stores can't be open. Give me a fucking break. But yeah, I can't wait to go on a trip. We're talking about going to Vegas. Talking about going to Idaho to go do some camping. It'll just be good. Maybe go to the Oregon coast. Just can't wait. Plus, the dating scene should be getting back to it because I tell you, it's the Walking Dead out here. I feel like a zombie, but I can't find a brain worth eating. That's good. That's good. I have to keep up with that on the spot. I come up with good ones every now and then. But anyway, I love y'all. I hope I entertained you just a little bit. I hope I made you chuckle once or twice. Yeah, hit me up. I do enjoy the occasional comments or messages I get related to the podcast. Keep them coming. If you're not feeling too sure about whether or not you could reach out to me, fuck it, yeah, reach out to me. Who gives a fuck, you know? I'm not going to get mad. Even if you insult me, I'll still stay. Thanks for listening. So, anyway, I love y'all. Take it sleazy. I think I'm going to go watch an older movie tonight. Again, what is this movie tonight? Defending Your Life from 1991. I've always wanted to see this because I love the idea. The idea of this movie is, in an afterlife way station resembling a major city, the lives of the recently deceased are examined in court-like settings. I think it's great. You die and you have to basically prove yourself in the afterlife, whether or not you go up or down or whatever. But I haven't seen the movie. I think it's a good idea. But anyway, for the third time and final time, I love y'all and take it sleazy.